All right, so I've been promising for way too long to give you an idea what's been going on with the truck this last year and a half, something like that. I want to say it was like April of 23. We got to the Black Hills and all was fine and good. And then all of a sudden, service def system C dealer, limp mode, and 150 miles.
2 weeks before we were leaving.
Yep. And then we couldn't find anyone, get it fixed. It was expensive. Long story short, Steve.
The only place I could get it in, I took it to the dealership, and they ended up cleaning the def tank. We had bad def, and had to replace the pump because you can't clean it.
And so that was around
$2,400.
It was. And then we went on about our way, and then in June of last year, we were overheating. So anytime we were pulling, going anywhere, it was problematic. And so Steve in July tore apart the truck.
Did all new exhaust gaskets, new fan clutch, and ended up replacing the thermostat, and that helped. But we were still overheating, so on our way to Arizona, I had a coolant flush done with acid, and that finally fixed it.
And then from there, we went and saw Sarah and Jaden, which is our daughter and son-in-law, and Harlow, our beautiful grandson, over in Camp Pendleton, which was like 4.5 hours from where we were in Parker, Arizona at the time. And we helped them get moved into their new townhome on base and all that fun stuff. And on the way back, we were 187 miles away from the camper, and the truck did it again. Service def system, C dealer, 150 miles to limp mode. So we had to redirect to Blythe, California, where on New Year's Eve, we ended up leaving our truck with a note on the dash that says, "Please don't tow me, we need help." And then our friend, other Steve, came and picked us up, and we ended up borrowing his truck for a month. And at that time, it was the EGR.
Yep, the EGR valve went out and the manifold. So with them replacing everything, that was just over $4,000.
So then we got our truck back, went back to California again to see our family, and came back. And the next day, Steve calls me on the way to work, and I said, "Don't you dare say anything's wrong with that truck." And that's when it stayed in Lake Havasu for I think that was the def quality injector.
Yes, def quality sensor went out, which is not replaceable. You have to put a whole new tank in, so that was another $2,400.
And then we had the truck back for 3 weeks, and that's when it was the injector.
Yep, def injector was going bad. They had a hard time getting it out. Thank God they did, or we'd had to put a whole new DPF in. But that turned out to be like $1,600.
And then, so all of this said and done, we think we're good, and we're on our way back to South Dakota. We're in New Mexico. We've got an exhaust leak. Dealership can't get us in. We're on our way back for a wedding. And so we get it into another shop that the dealership recommended. And it turns out that the first dealership that did the EGR put parts on wrong.
Yep, they did some of the clamps wrong. So the guy got us back on the road. It didn't quite fully seal, but it was better. We made it back to South Dakota. I got new gaskets and clamps. Thank you, Dad. And put it back together, and then we were good for a while.
And then, so just recently, when we left North Dakota the middle of October, we had a squeal because we still had another exhaust leak. And then we stopped in South Dakota to visit family one last time, and then we ended up with a whistle. And we went to Branson and over to Oklahoma and a few other places. And then when we left Oklahoma, we woke up and then there's a knocking as well. So we were all sorts of noisy getting down to Texas. And Steve tore the truck apart when we stayed with our friends for a month. He was able to bring the truck into their garage and just rip it all apart. And
blew all the exhaust gaskets again. I took the manifold to a couple different shops. It could have been machined, but I didn't trust it, so I bought a new manifold, and that was $700. And then put it back together, you know, probably spent maybe $800-900 again, and it is working like a champ.
So thankfully, we think that we've finally got our truck problems behind us. Fingers crossed.
Yep.
Have a good day.